Hello. I've been waiting some time for this. My first video about an orange or amber wine. It's my first, but it won't be my last. I've started to develop a real keen interest and a desire for this new style of wine. New style of wine. That's a misnomer for a start. A new style of wine actually comes from a concept developed about 8,000 years ago. 8,000 years ago in Eastern Europe, in Georgia in actual fact, they had something which was called kevri, in which they fermented their wine. This was big. These were big earthenware amphora which they buried in the ground and they sealed with a stone on the top. Pretty basic winemaking. Now that's been refined, of course, all the way through during the last years when it's a new style based on something very, very old, ancient even, and it's now been refined to the degree where we're making really good quality orange or amber wines. This one is made by my friend Juan Piqueras from Bodegas Pigar. It's up in the UTL Vicena area, inland from Valencia, but it's not DO, Denominación de Origen, UTL Vicena, because they haven't yet permitted orange wines to be on their list of styles. I think they will do eventually. Just as I think that conservative-minded restaurants in Spain and conservative-minded wine consumers in Spain will eventually get the idea that they can also put, red wine, white wine, sparkling wine, rosado wine, but save a space for orange wines as well. I understand that in Canada, many wine lists already have orange wines, and I'm sure that will come through to Europe and eventually to conservative-minded in terms of wine consumerism, Spain as well. Why? Because it's a great product. What's it actually like? Well, I'm going to have another sniff of it. In some ways it's indescribable. It isn't indescribable, but if you're actually thinking about a white wine, because this style of wine is made from white wine grape varieties, but we mustn't compare it to white wine because it's nothing like it at all. And that, I think, is one of the reasons when people first try it, they think, oh, I'm not so sure about it, because they can't get out of their mind, like I couldn't to start off with, the idea of a white wine being what we know of as a white wine. This is made from white wine grape varieties, but it's treated in such a way as a red wine would be. I'm talking here about skin contact. Normally, when we make a white wine, we only have the skin in contact with the juice for a very short period of time. Orange wines are actually in contact with the juice for a minimum, I would say, of about a week. It can go through to months, it can even go through to a year. It makes a dramatic difference because, first of all, it changes the colour of the wine. The skin contact changes the colour, but that's not all. It changes completely the aroma profile and the taste profile of the wine. Speaking of the taste, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? Well, it's got hazelnuts. It's a little bit of a nutty wine. I actually likened it when I tried my first one to a bitter orange marmalade. The wine's not bitter, but the reason I'm saying a bitter orange marmalade is because I want to differentiate it from the sweet style of orange marmalades. No, this is a bitter one. It's made from, it's almost as if it's the skin of those Sevilla oranges, which are, of course, quite bitter. In wine terms, we're not talking bitterness here, we're talking dryness. It's a lovely dry white wine. It's got completely different aromas, as I've just said, completely different flavours, and that means it actually allies itself very nicely for pairing with different styles of food. You can eat meat with this wine, you can eat fish with this wine, and everything in between. Moroccan dishes go particularly well with it, Japanese dishes do as well, and there'll be some Thai dishes which aren't too sweet which are going to go along with this particular wine as well. I can imagine it in the future being on wine lists in Spain and being paired with some of the lovely paellas, particularly those paellas which are mixed paellas, some meat in there, rabbit, some chicken, but also some seafood, a little bit of fish in there as well. I am really enamoured by this style of orange wine. I've tasted about 6 or 7 from 3 different bodegas. One of those bodegas actually entered in the Penin guide, and 2 of their orange wines got 93 and 90 out of 100 points respectively. Now that says a lot. Mark my words, they will be on restaurant wine list. Check out this one from Bodegas Pigar, made by Juan Piqueras. Enjoy. I'm certainly going to enjoy a little bit more.